Hi, my name is James Shepard, and in this mini-series, we're talking about structured selling. And so we're going to start by talking about the value proposition. Now, the value proposition, that's a word that you hear a lot in sales, and I think a lot of times it gets overcomplicated. The value proposition is actually really, really simple. The value proposition is your solution to a specific problem. That's it. Your solution to a specific problem. Now, salespeople a lot of times do not think about that. I love that statement, nobody ever goes to buy a drill, they go to buy a hole. In other words, they're not trying to buy a drill, they need to make a hole in the wall, so they go buy a drill so that they can make a hole in the wall. They're paying for the hole in the wall, they're not paying for a drill. And that in the same way, when you're out selling, you're not just selling something that is, this is my value proposition. What you're actually selling is you're selling a solution to somebody's problem. And you need to make sure that you have this problem clearly identified. Now, one of the other things that's really important about the value proposition is that the more narrow your scope, in terms of the more narrow the problem is that you're solving, then the easier it's going to be for you to market that particular value proposition or problem solver. Okay, so let me give you an example. In merchant services, if I go out in the field right now and say, the problem I'm trying to solve is that people are paying too much for merchant services, I want to save them money. Okay, that's a very broad problem. Certainly you can go out there and try to solve that problem, and you're going to have some success if you work hard and follow some training videos and things like that. But the truth is, that's a really broad problem to solve, and there's a lot of people trying to solve that problem. And so one of the things is, the broader the scope of the problem you're solving, the more people that are trying to solve the exact same problem. Okay, so instead of that, what if I said pizza shops are paying too much for credit card processing and I want to save them money? Okay, well, now we've narrowed the scope significantly. So now when I make my marketing materials, I can make them specifically for pizza shops. I can address these specific concerns with pizza shops where their transaction fee is too high, things like that. And I've got a course actually on instantquotetool.com targeting specific business types. We'll have that one up really soon. So if you go there and check that out, it should be there by the time you watch this video, which is targeting specific business types. And so you can certainly do that, right? That's a good idea, okay? Let's take it even a step further though. What if we looked at it and said, pizza shops are having lines that are really long and they're too slow at the checkout counter, and I want to solve that problem and I want to add the merchant services in with it. Well, now we're talking about some kind of software, something like that. And so maybe you can find a specific thing that's going to solve a problem in that way. So you really want to try to get down as close as you can to a very specific issue. And that specific issue needs to have a couple of properties. Number one, solving that problem needs to be very valuable, tangibly valuable to the decision maker, okay? It needs to be a problem that they want to solve, in other words. So that's number one. You've got to have a problem that they want to solve. Secondly, it needs to be a problem that they are, they're interested in solving. So some things you're like, oh man, they would save so much money if they did this, or they would make so much money if they did that. Well, yeah, but is the market ready? Are they excited about this particular solution? Do they want to solve this problem right now? If not, you can pitch them till you're blue in the face. It doesn't matter how valuable your value proposition is. If they're not interested in solving that problem, it's not going to get anywhere, okay? So you have to have something that's going to be very valuable to them and also something that they want to solve. And so once you have those two criteria together, you now have your value proposition. Now we're ready to move on to the next step.